right, I could not be more excited about this Colorado Conversations because the star of the best movie ever made is sitting right here next to me, and he happens to live in Colorado. I didn't even know that until a couple of weeks ago, and a chance encounter, and now I know him. We're friends. I can sense it because he, again, starred in what I think is the greatest movie ever made. Christopher Serrone is our guest on this Colorado Conversation, and if he doesn't look familiar at the moment, he will when we show you these pictures. He was the Kid Henry in Goodfellas. He worked with the biggest names in the business. We're talking Scorsese and De Niro and Joe Pesci, all these guys. And he's here right next to us. He's going to talk about what he's doing in Colorado, of all places, and talk about what it took to make the greatest movie ever made. So, Christopher, thanks so much for being with us today.
Jeremy, it is an absolute pleasure and an honor. As I said, I've been watching you for years with my family.
Yes.
Even my daughters knew who I was going to go meet.
I love it.
Just because I said Jeremy Hubbard. They're like, the guy from the news. And I said, yes.
Well, my kids have not seen Goodfellas, or else they would do the same thing. But one day,
in a couple years when they get older.
That's right. So if you don't know, Christopher Serrone is the star. Basically, he carries the entire first 20 minutes of the greatest film ever made, Goodfellas. It's just him, essentially. And, you know, I have a feeling that one of the reasons you're probably cast is because you look a lot like Ray Liotta. But to say that discounts how good you are in this movie. I'm not just saying that because you're here. You were really great in this movie, and you carried that first 20 minutes.
Well, Jeremy, thank you. I was very blessed and honored to be, you know, in any way connected to that film.
Yeah.
I owe so much of my life to Goodfellas.
Yeah.
But, you know, when we were filming it, we had no idea we knew we had something special.
Yeah.
But no one knew what it would turn into.
Yeah.
And then, mind you, I was the kid. Paul Sorvino gave me that name.
Did he? Yeah.
He would say, "Where's the kid? Go get the kid." You know, oh, here's the kid now.
I love it.
It's stuck.
Yeah. So you grew up in Queens.
Yes.
Were you wanting to be an actor? How did you get involved in this?
It's funny. So 5 of my other cousins were already in the business, models and actors in their own right. My cousin Jessica was actually casted and born on the 4th of July, the same year as Goodfellas.
Really?
That I got Goodfellas.
Wow, yeah.
But, you know, geez, I can't imagine my life without it.
Yeah. So what was it like? Do you remember when you got that call that Scorsese wanted you?
It was Good Friday.
Yeah.
Showing my age. The answering machine was blinking. And me and my mom and dad got home from church, and it's blinking, and we don't think anything about it. My mom plays it, and she screams, "Anthony, Christopher."
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, what happened? I thought it was like the school.
You're in trouble.
which you know, might have been the case.
Yeah.
But it was my agent, and he was, I mean, to say he was screaming, almost couldn't make it out. You got it, you got it, you got it. He just kept repeating it over and over, and then, he means the movie.
Yeah.
I kid you not, we all cried, literally. And my dad was not one.
Yeah.
I was only a kid. I was 11.
Right.
My mom, you know, I would expect, but even my dad, I'll never forget it.
There's so many iconic scenes in that movie. I think about the opening scene with you. It's a tight shot of your eyes. You're looking out the window, and you're watching all the gang activity across the street.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Okay, let's hear it.
So obviously I don't have Ray's beautiful blue eyes.
Yeah.
But continuity.
Uh-huh.
So Marty had 2 sets of lenses, hand-painted in Italy.
Wow.
They were $3,000 a lens.
Wow.
And I had 2 sets, hard lenses, and I could only wear them for about an hour at a time.
Really?
Because they were the hard variety.
Yeah, right.
So it would have been the best for my eyes.
So yeah, you're looking out the window, seeing this gang activity, some familiar faces, some guys we went on to see in The Sopranos and other shows there. And then my favorite scene with you is that scene where you're in the parking lot and you've lit all the cars on fire and you're running away as they explode. And that was really you, right?
So, you know, I had a very unique 12 years old, you could say.
Yeah.
You know, most kids playing baseball, football, soccer, you know. I'm out there, you know, around controlled,
Explosive.
you know, just crazy.
Yeah.
So I was given the option, you know, if I wanted to do my own. And, you know, of course, at the age of 12, it seemed very reasonable.
Yeah.
So I was like, of course. We did have to sign all kinds of waivers and parental permission for FDNY and SAG.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I did my own. And we did it about 2 in the morning.
Wow.
And Marty comes up to me and he says, Chris, I know it's late, but this is costing us
A lot of money.
we need one take.
Okay. Wow. You can't mess it
There
up.
was no CGI, there was no AI. Right. It was a controlled detonation, a controlled explosion.
They're blowing up classic cars here.
Well, they were just the frames, but nonetheless.
Okay, yeah.
So I had to learn how to run. They couldn't take me falling, God forbid, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to run, and I'm like, you're going to teach me how to run? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So, sure. So they taught me how to run.
Yeah.
Learned how to drive, too, during that time.
Yeah.
On a 51 Caddy.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a crazy 12.
There's also this great scene at the beginning of the movie where you've been skipping school and the actor who plays your dad comes at you and he's really mad about it and he gets that belt out and he starts taking it to you. How do you film a scene like that and make it look real when you're not really getting hit? I hope you're not really getting hit.
Well, no. I did have, you know, not to give away too much movie magic, but there was foam padding on my back.
Okay.
And we were just saying we did just lose the actor, Bo, who played my dad.
Yeah.
Wonderful man. Great career, but he was a big boy.
Yeah.
He played for the Jets and he played for I think it was Montreal or one of the CFL teams.
Yeah,
it's going back a few years.
Yeah,
the original CFL. But I, you know, not to give up too much info, but I've been in that situation growing up a few times.
I'm gonna ask. Okay.
And you know, in my generation, the belt was the common thing if you messed up.
Yeah.
And you know, let's say I messed up a little.
Yeah.
But no, I literally had to wait either for the crack of the whip or the belt rather, or the actual hit. At one point, Bo was really laying into me.
Going after you, yeah.
The belt buckle comes around and it gets me in the rib.
Oh boy.
And Bo knew right away. He was mortified. He was like, "Oh my God, Chris, you know." And I'm like, no, we're good. I'm like, don't stop. Let's go. You know, I didn't want to be the reason why we stopped, but for 2 weeks I had a nice, well, like this, the outline of the buckle.
Small price to pay to be in one of the biggest movies ever. We're having a Colorado conversation with Christopher Serrone, star of Goodfellas, the best movie ever made. Hands down, no argument about it, and we'll continue the conversation right after this. Back now having a Colorado conversation with Christopher Serrone, star of Goodfellas, who happens to live right here in Colorado, by the way, and we're going to talk about what brought him to our great state here in just a minute, but I'm still fascinated about talking about the best movie ever made, and so I want to hear more inside stories. So you're 12 years old, you're filming a movie with the greats of all time. We're talking Scorsese, De Niro. Give me some personal anecdotes of what's it like to share the screen with De Niro. There's that time where you're getting out of the courtroom and you guys are 6 inches apart face to face and he's telling you to never rat on your friends. What's it like to act like with a guy like that? You know,
it's funny because I've been asked that quite a few times. Yeah. I think to my benefit, I didn't truly understand who I was working with.
Yeah.
My knowledge of his work was very limited given my age.
Right.
He had been in some great films, but you know, the subject matter.
Not for kids.
Not necessarily. You know, I think like Outsiders was my extent of like rough and tough.
Right.
You know, given the age. I was told who he was from my mom and dad, friends, family.
Yeah.
But you know, what do you relate that to?
Right.
So, as much as I knew he was someone, I think to a benefit, I didn't know the full extent. So even though I may have had the butterflies, it wasn't like.
Yeah. Right.
I've seen it happen with other people, even sometimes myself later on in my career.
Yeah.
But it you know, you're there 6-7 months of your life and you learn a lot. These guys still are. Some of them have passed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys passed. Bill Savino and Tony Sirico and Dan Conti. But anyhow, I took so much from them. Whether they knew it or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I had my ears open and my eyes, and they were very, very, they were teachers almost, because they saw my youth, even a little greenness.
Yeah.
They took me under their wing, which I'm very blessed about, you know?
Yeah.
Very blessed about.
And Scorsese, what's it like to take direction from a guy like that?
You know, he doesn't direct you.
Yeah.
He'll guide you.
Yeah.
He'll even say the script is a guide. If you wouldn't say that word that way in that moment, please don't.
Really?
Because all he wants is truth.
Yeah.
That's it. Whether it be truth in the character, truth in yourself, finding the character, preferably both. Mm-hmm. That's what he wanted. I think that's why his films are a cut above the rest. The verbiage is so right on. The music, mm-hmm. the characteristics of the roles, everything.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss anything.
Yeah, music plays such a critical role in his movies.
Best soundtrack. Hands down.
I mean, I can picture, when I hear one of those songs, I know exactly
you know
where.
the scene.
Yeah, the scene. It's
absolutely.
Crazy. Yeah.
It introduced me to a lot of classic rock that I wasn't aware of.
Right.
Some great tunes, and now, you know, they're in my, what are the kids called? The queue? Or
right.
Their playlist, whatever,
right.
you know.
Playlist, yeah.
And thank God, because now I have, you know, that much more great music in my go-to.
And it really, I think, is three different movies. It's you, the kid, Henry, and then it's them as grown-ups, and then that third act where it's like they're this fever dream of cocaine or whatever.
Jeremy, you have a really good eye when it comes to film. So Goodfellas was originally 6 hours long.
Really? Wow.
And, you know, Warner Bros. Just like,
we're not doing this.
you know.
Right.
So there were a couple options. One was a part one, part two.
Yeah.
The other was like an intermission.
Okay.
And both were like, no.
Yeah, we can't do that.
So I would love to see those deleted scenes.
Oh, yeah.
There's over 3 hours worth, Jeremy.
Really?
Over 3 hours worth.
Unbelievable.
But it is. He kind of staged it that way. Act 1, Act 2, and then Act 3.
Yeah.
Very storybook-like.
So good.
But that's the master at work.
He is the master. There's no two ways about it. So, okay, so you're making the movie. You're like 12 years old, and then Hollywood does its thing. It takes forever for this thing to come out. The kids at school, what are they saying? Do they know that you're about to be this big star?
It was weird because it was during the summer when I filmed.
Yeah.
And then a year went by.
Yeah.
And then it was released when I was a freshman in high school. Did you ever see the movie Fame?
Yeah.
That was my high school.
Oh, LaGuardia, right?
LaGuardia.
Yeah, right, of course.
I was a drumming major.
Okay, yeah.
What a time that was. That was an incredible time.
I'll bet.
But I was, so I had to be, 13, freshman year, you know, somewhere, 13.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was like this massive movie, and it's, Jeremy, everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah. I couldn't go to the little Chinese restaurant we would get takeout from on Friday night.
Yeah.
I could be at the mall.
Right.
Finally, when I hit about, I want to say, right after college, I moved west.
Did you?
That was my initial, I was like, I need a break. And that was right around the Soprano time. So I was doing a little personal time.
Yeah.
It got to be a bit much.
It was huge because it was a big movie at the box office, obviously, but then it became this big thing where it had its own life, where it genuinely is on every list of greatest movies ever made.
It was on Lifetime.
Yeah.
My wife was like, Chris, it's on Lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Right after, like, a Judith Life special. It was incredible. I'm like,
right.
And I said, well, it's Lorraine.
Yeah, that must be
Lorraine.
Well, it's on, we were talking about this, it's on every weekend. You turn on cable any given Saturday or Sunday, you're going to see Goodfellas. You're going to see
You know what I get a lot? A lot of guys say, no matter where, it's always on.
Yeah.
No matter where it is when it's on, they'll leave it on.
Me too.
And just let it ride.
Every time it's there, I watched it. I watched it from beginning to end. We're having a Colorado conversation with Christopher Serrone. He's the kid Henry from Goodfellas, and we're going to talk about what brought him here to Colorado, where he lives, by the way, and religiously watches Fox 31 News, which we love. And we'll get to that when we come back. Back now with our remaining moments with Christopher Serrone, star of Goodfellas. He's an actor and a Coloradan, by the way. We were talking about this beforehand. How is it that you wound up in Colorado, and how is this your home?
So I was living in L.A. Yeah. I was dating my Courtney at the time.
Yeah.
And her mom was in a bad accident. and she needed a little help.
Yeah.
So it was like a moment in time, if you will. And I'm like, well, am I coming? Are we breaking up? Should I pack?
Yeah.
Thankfully, I ended up here.
Yeah.
So we know how that ended. She's a smart girl.
Yeah. No doubt.
And I've been here since 2015.
Yeah.
Fell in love with Colorado.
Nice.
I grew up in the heart of Queens,
Yeah.
in a very different environment, and I love everything about raising my daughters here.
Yeah.
Everything about it. They went on a field trip to Rocky Mountain National Park.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Pretty amazing.
Come on.
Nothing like that back in Queens.
Come on. No.
You want to give them a shout out real quick?
Oh, London, Leah, I love you guys. I'm here with our friend Jeremy. And they're Stay Kids, which is their favorite group. They said, Dad, if he asks, tell him we're Stay Kids.
Love it.
Apparently, it's a big group in South Korea.
Okay, very good. Now we know. Tell me about this. I'm curious about how this has sort of changed your life, because now you guys have sort of paired up with folks from The Sopranos, and you go around because there's such an appetite for fans that want to meet you and hear these stories, right?
So, I was doing Comic-Cons for almost 20 years now. I started doing them in 2005.
Yeah.
And theoretically, they're great.
Yeah.
But you pay $75 to $150 just to get in, VIP, whatever. Mm-hmm. Wait in line an hour and a half. You get your celebrity or your, who you want to see. Another $100 in autograph and selfie, and then 2-minute interaction, you're gone.
That's it.
What I do is I take cast members from arguably the best film, if not my film ever made, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
The best TV series,
Yeah.
Sopranos, and then some other films, Bronx Tale, and give me another one there, Gotti, for example.
Yeah.
And for what we do is we get a nice restaurant, great menu,
Yeah.
and you get 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
Sit across the table, break bread, hear stories, ask questions, pictures, holding drinks.
Yeah.
Versus, with a corny back screen and $75.
Right. Yes. Right. So it's a much more personal experience.
More intimate, and I think they get their money's worth. Yeah. Every time we do them, people want to know where we're going next.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't we do these in Colorado?
Yeah.
So that's how
I met. So I was going to go. You did one in Colorado Springs. I was going to go to it, but I had to do something that day.
Well, you're a busy guy.
Well, yeah, but then I saw on social media that you were doing this appearance at this restaurant in Wheatridge. What's the name of the restaurant?
It's Arvada. It's called Vinny and Marie's.
Vinny Marie's, yes.
They had a food truck here for years, but the demand for their food was incredible. So now they have a brick and mortar, which you visited.
I did, yeah.
64th and Watts. They're actually, I'm going to spoil the surprise, but they're actually bringing you and Annabelle here some lunch.
I love it. Okay,
or
good.
early dinner, we'll say. Some of their best stuff.
Yeah. So I met you there. I showed up, and I met all these guys, and it was all the guys from Sopranos. It was you and Joseph D'Onofrio from
Joseph
Goodfellas.
D'Onofrio who played young Joe Pesci, my counterpart in Goodfellas.
That's right.
Then we had Matt Saravito, who played Agent Harris in Sopranos.
Yep.
We had Robert Fonaro, who played Eugene, and Jason Serbone, who played Jackie Jr.
Yep.
And then Dan Grimaldi, who I just love that guy. He's 80 years old, and he's still teaching, and in a play, he flew the red eye at midnight, landed, taught that day, Dan Grimaldi. Patsy Parisi.
Patsy Parisi. You may remember him from the famous scene with Tony Soprano's swimming pool, but we won't get into too much about what happened.
If you haven't seen it, it's a good watch.
It's a good watch, no doubt about it. Bottom line, though, why has this film endured so much? Why does it mean so much to so many people?
I've been asked that a lot, too, and I think the actors that were in the movie gave so much of themselves.
Yeah.
Actors don't get enough credit for being as vulnerable as they are. You put your heart out there, you put your emotions out there, up for criticisms, but really good actors do it and don't care. Yeah. And I think every actor gave everything they had to the point where you actually felt like you knew who they were.
Yeah.
I get that, oh, dude, I grew up with you. I've been watching you 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you know. And then, you know, when you sign an autograph or someone wants an autograph, it's the biggest honor.
Yeah.
The most expensive thing in their world is that wall connected to their home.
Good point.
And they could put anything on it, Jeremy,
Yeah.
and they want your picture.
It means a lot. You're right about that. I'm curious because we lost a couple people. Ray Liotta died a few years back. You played the young version of him in the
Felt
movie.
like I lost my older brother.
I was going to ask, what were your interactions with him like? On set, probably not much, right?
No, not on set at all.
Yeah.
But then again, Marty would say, I don't want to see you guys all day get lost.
Yeah.
He wanted us to pick up on, you know, little characteristics, little personal traits, hoping that it would convey or carry over a film. So he was, I don't want to see you all day. So I'd be like, great, let's go to a Met game.
Yeah.
You're like, Mets. We're going to the Yankee game.
Okay, nice.
Can't argue with the guy. I hate the Yankees.
Yeah.
Grew up in Queens. I'm a diehard Mets fan.
Right.
Let's go Mets. This is our year.
Good luck. So what about Henry Hill? Did you ever get to meet him?
I did get to meet Henry. Henry was on set quite a bit. He was a technical advisor, we'll say.
Yeah.
And he was a character.
Oh, was he?
Unbelievable. Just, if you've ever met a man who literally cheated death
Yeah.
and knew it,
Yeah.
he kind of lived the rest of his life that way. Not that he lived his life any different beforehand.
Right.
But he would go on Howard.
Oh, yeah.
People would call up and be like, when you come downstairs and with a Heineken in hand,
I remember.
he would say, well, why wait? I'm on the 7th floor. And Howard,
Yeah.
Henry, please, no, security.
Right.
But no, Henry was a great man.
Yeah.
I like to say, I can't imagine my life had Henry not lived his.
It's a good point. Yeah, right. It's exactly right. Christopher Serrone, it is a thrill to have you here. Genuinely, this has been a thrill for me because I am such a fan, and I'm such a fan of that movie. So.
Well, the honor was mine. I'm a Coloradan, so I get to meet a celebrity in my own right.
The bar is low, believe me.
Not at all.
If I'm your version of a celebrity. Christopher Serrone, and if folks want to see you guys in person or go to one of these events, do they follow you on Instagram?
Follow me on Instagram, @RealChrisSerrone, or Serrone.
Yep.
I'm doing a lot more. I'm bringing soprano guys out here.
Yeah.
Colorado needs this.
We do. Yeah.
Mind you, we're always looking for future witness protection sites.
This is a good one. There are worse places to be than Colorado, that's for sure. Christopher Serrone, thanks so much for joining us for this Colorado conversation, and thank you for watching. We're back with a brand new episode tomorrow right here on Fox 31 Plus.